Hello, everyone. This is Sam Ridgway with another episode of Tales from the Crypto with our resident guru, Cameron Sykes. Cameron, how are you?
Doing well. How are you doing, Sammy?
I'm doing exceptionally well. And I think today we're going to go over a little bit of the market. I think you give an update on the market and I think some good news possibly that's coming in, as well as talking about something in the future. And then we did actually sell a couple of our NFTs. So we'll go over that as well. So you want to stay for the whole entire program. So without further ado, Cameron, you're the guru. Let's go
All right.
ahead and tell people about the market and why they might not, why it might not be as fearful or as bleak as it seems.
All righty. Let's get into it. So it's been a rough week for Bitcoin and crypto markets since we last saw you guys. Both of them getting their absolute asses kicked alongside the equity markets as the doom and gloom continues to swirl around interest rates and inflation. So in less than 24 hours, Bitcoin fell from 36,000 to 33,000. And that was on the 24th, so just a few days ago. And since then, we've had a bounce back up to around 38,000, but analysts are split on where we move next. So make sure to keep an eye on the FOMC statement today at 2 p.m. Eastern and how the market responds, because that should be a really good indicator of where we're going to move next. But even though we're seeing a lot of short-term chaos, there's still a lot to be excited about. In the new report by ARK Investments, who have about 24 billion in assets under management, which is a substantial amount, so it's safe to say that those guys know what they're talking about. They're projecting Bitcoin to hit 1 million and Ethereum to hit 180,000 by 2030. So even though things right now are kind of rough, long-term, prospects are still looking really good, and if not better than ever. So, just stay patient. Don't get too scared. But despite the Bitcoin, crypto, and equity markets tanking, the NFT market appears to be offering a sort of oasis for investors and speculators. The floor price for a Bored Ape Yacht Club and CryptoPunks are both up in the last 24 hours. The floor price of CryptoPunks is up 13.3%, while Bored Ape Yacht Club is up 8.14%. Also, Goldman Sachs recently published a report affirming its view that the metaverse could evolve into a market worth anywhere between 8 to 12 trillion. So that's a lot. The metaverse is, everything's moving there. NFTs, buying land, they're really bullish on specifically Decentraland and the Sandbox metaverses. But I'm sure there's going to be more ones to come up between now and the next few years. They're going to give them a run for their money. But overall, even though the broader markets have been their ass kicked, things are still very bullish and for the NFT space and the metaverse.
Mana, did it fall?
Oh yeah,
a lot of the altcoins fell to like some of the stuff I'm looking at right now. Quite honestly, if I could have all my money back from the beginning of time that I started doing this, and I could invest it right now, I would be investing at an amazing time.
Oh my God.
So with that and understanding that it's still going to go up, I mean, again, we keep talking about put money in that you have, but this is like a really good time. It fell pretty good. It's a really good time to put money in if you have some extra cash, because you are definitely getting basement prices here.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like right now, if you just been, for whatever reason, you sold at the peak and you just had cash on the sidelines waiting for the right point. I mean, this is probably as strong as any time in the past year or two to actually, buy any crypto. You're getting so much value on the market today. I mean, buying Decentraland, I mean, you're getting that at a huge discount. This market started tanking when the whole thing was rallying. And so you're going to get that at a huge discount. And everyone's bullish on Decentraland. The metaverse is going to be huge. Their real estate that they're selling in there is insane. And it's just it's crazy out there, and we're seeing a lot of these NFT projects now are looking to actually go have do coin releases. Like I know Bored Ape Yacht Club has been rumored to be meeting with a lot of the top venture capital firms in the world and about releasing their ape coin, and so that would go be tied to the NFT projects they're doing in their growth. And I think that would be a huge coin to get in, and that's going to be really popular. And so it's crazy. The NFT space, the metaverse, all that stuff seems to be overall more insulated from the crap that we're seeing in the crypto liquid token markets right now. And so much so that we started to notice that and want to be more active in that space. And as you know, from our last episode, we bought a bunch of NFTs. And as of this week, we sold our first two. And I'll tell you about that right now. So The first one that we sold was a Rebel Society number 3436, which we bought for 0.07 ETH about 2 weeks ago. And on Monday, we sold that for 0.25 ETH. And so that's a 229% return on that one.
Now,
So
is that the one on the screen?
let me see. Yep, that one right there. So we sold that, bought that for 0.07, sold that for a quarter of an ETH. And the person who bought that, you can actually go look at their OpenSea, and they own a bunch of Bored Apes. So some rich person with good taste bought that one, took it off her hands, over 200% return. And then the other one we sold, this was one that we actually purchased on Monday after this sold, and it's called MEV Army 5357. We got that for 0.13 ETH. And this morning around 1 a.m., that sold for 0.666 ETH. And so that's a 412% return in the span of 48 hours. And that was a really cool project.
In there is you're not always going to go to hit home runs here, right? Like you know, we're talking about you get something, you wait till it goes to like 35,000, you bought it for like 200. So, okay, that can happen, but that's not going to happen normally. More so than that is going to be what we've done. I say we, but you're the one really doing it. Which is you get 200% off of something, you could just flip stuff all the time. I
Yeah.
mean, didn't you say it was in our sleep last night that this happened? Like you
Yeah.
bought it, and then boom. Okay, well now you got 200% more. So let's say you buy something for $1,000, you flip it for 3,000. Well, now you can buy something at 3,000, you're flipping it for 6,000, and now you got 6,000, you're flipping it for 12,000. So it doesn't take long to take these things if you do it intelligently using the tools we talked about before, and flip this stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think honestly, it's just trying to get value and the best bang for your buck, not chasing after anything, trying to get one of these NFTs as close to the floor price as possible, and also find something that's getting a lot of volume and something where the floor price is going to move up. Because when we got that MEV Army, the one that we bought on Monday and then flipped that this morning in our sleep, we got that for 0.13, and by later that day, the floor price had already moved up to like 0.2, and so in theory, it could have just flipped that right there for a decent profit. But I saw it was getting a little bit more momentum, so I had listed way higher than that, not way higher, but around 0.666, just because there's a cool kind of devil guy, and so like that made sense to kind of price it like that, and thought that might get some eyes on it. And literally by the time I woke up this morning, I had an email 1 a.m. saying someone bought it for 0.66 ETH. And I looked at the floor of all those NFTs, and they'd gone up from 0.25 ETH when I went to bed last night to 0.5 ETH when I woke up this morning. So, the floor price in itself doubled, which is a good indicator. And so people really like that stuff. We got in at the right time, and it's starting to spread. So it worked out perfectly.
That's awesome. I mean, and like you were saying, the market itself right now is kind of iffy. You don't know whether it's going to go up or down, although there is light at the end of the tunnel, of course, but we don't know when that light's going to start showing up. So in the interim, you just let stuff ride. You had a couple extra bucks, you put it in, maybe you put it in some NFTs using the tools that we talked about in the last episode, looking at the rarity of them, looking at the artists that did it, just the contributing factors. I mean, he's making a determination as to, oh, that looks like something somebody might want just on aesthetics alone. But putting that together, look at what you're able to do. Flip it for 200%, 400%. It's incredible. It's definitely something people should look into.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and it's even crazier. I was reading an article last night. There, in probably the first quarter of 2023, there's going to be the first NFT restaurant to open up in New York City, and to where it's a members-only restaurant, and the only way you get in or can make reservations is if you hold that NFT to be the member. And what's really interesting about that is typically these NFTs, you go profit from an NFT that you own when you sell it, right? But with this one, what they're adding a feature that I thought was really unique and interesting. I think it's going to be something that's we're going to see a lot more, especially with these NFTs that are kind of club based. Is that there's a feature where you can go lease your NFT out to someone. So you're not going to that restaurant or actively using that membership. You can go plug it in and lease it out, and so people can go pay you to to go to that restaurant and pay and to hold your NFT for X amount of time. And so I think that's a brilliant development. I think there's going to be a lot of big stuff coming from there.
All right. Well, what else you got? Anything else?
I think that's it for this week.
All right. That sounds good. That's enough. Again, guys, if look into the NFT thing. We just started this 2 weeks ago. Cameron's already been able to go in there, purchase a number of them, flip 2 of them already. I'm sure that by next Wednesday we'll have flipped a few more. And as you get better and better and better, then I think the eyes on it and the desire to have the desirability is going to be higher as well as you get into those higher cost ones, which you're going to get into as you flip them for 200, 400% of what the original cost was. So Cameron, again, it's amazing. We'll just keep everybody up to date on our NFTs, keep everybody up to date on the market, hold tight, light at the end of the tunnel, all the rest of that stuff. Again, thanks for all your research, and we'll do this again next Wednesday.
Absolutely.
All right. Thanks, Cameron.
My pleasure.